What y'all got going, man? We got the gang capital of Europe, man. Let's rock.
When you have a country with less people than the entire state of Indiana, but has almost as many bombings per year as the US, we have a problem. Oh yeah, and in case you didn't know, the ATF reports that in 2023 there were 215 explosive related events in the United States. Now, Sweden, a country smaller than Indiana population wise, had 149 in 2023 and 317 in 2024. And don't forget, they gang banging too. Now, a lot of people
Ooh, wait, did it double? Hold on. Let me read that one time. Damn, more than double is crazy.
and 317 in
They blowing
2024.
shit
And
up.
don't forget, they gang banging too. Now, a lot of people on YouTube seem confused when I said that I might cover Sweden, since us Americans tend to think that danger only exists on this side of the planet. Unfortunately, not.
And y'all just saw that. If you get caught by a female cop, I don't care if it's Shakari Richards, you are slow than a bitch.
At least America can't take credit for these types of things happening in Sweden. This is something that seems very unique to the country itself. From the Swedish rapper who was the son of an award-winning actress being kidnapped, held for ransom, let go, and then executed a year later, reportedly a week before he was supposed
What? Your son got kidnapped twice?
to testify against the Varby network,
Hell
a gang
no.
from the Varby district in Stockholm, to another rapper being recorded by his killer as he chases him through a parking lot and murders him in footage I obviously can't show you here, and honestly, footage I wish I hadn't watched myself. The UK is scary enough with guys carrying machetes and committing crimes of passion with them, but what do you even call what's happening in Sweden? And many Swedes and
Yeah, the
Europeans
UK,
in general,
wow.
just like Americans, will blame
They
all the
throwing
crime on
acid in your
migrants. But
face,
like
all
most
type of shit.
countries, when you group the poorest members of society all into one area because you're scared of mixing them, what do you think will happen? Just look at the US. Crime in the black community was significantly lower as it was in the white community before these things called the projects grouped all poor black people into one spot to be crabs in a barrel. And the white community as well experienced less crime before the 1960s when they themselves were all grouped together based on income. So it's not really based on race at all. Economic status plays the biggest role, and today, the US, like many countries, has just as many poor, crime-ridden black areas as poor, crime-ridden white areas. And today, white and black people basically split all crime in the US about 50-50. So don't believe the hatred when they try to tell you race plays the biggest factor. Plus, you're still more likely to be victimized by a member of your own race statistically in the US. But back to Sweden though. Now, I don't think it's a secret that the country pretty much grouped all the poor immigrants from Africa and the Middle East into the same areas. And what would make
Of
most of these people
course.
leave their countries with nothing to their name? Something that most of us could never even imagine: war in our home country. But what would cause the son of a famous actress to get involved with gangs? He was reportedly raised in Enskede, excuse my pronunciation, one of the more affluent areas
And
in southern
where?
Stockholm.
In what the fuck city is this, bro? Hell no. I ain't pronouncing that shit.
Maybe the criminal underworld and rap music are
And
just too intertwined. He even spent some time in the Swedish equivalent of juvenile detention as a kid, but like most kids from his type of background, or at least the type of background he appears to be from, he ended up being extorted when he started to
I was just
associate
about to
with
say, you
guys
don't know
actually
what
born in
background you
crime
from,
ridden
for
areas
real.
that also participate. Happens in the US all the time. You'll see guys in the hood being driven around the city by suburban girls who just came around for the thrill of being around the crime they heard so much about. I'll never forget back in my college days when I was visiting Purdue University, listening to a medical student from a wealthy neighborhood laugh about the time she hung out with gang members in Gary and somebody came through shooting. She clearly had no idea what she was around. And maybe this guy didn't either. It's even reported that the house of someone close to him was bombed in order to make sure he continued to pay
It's all funny till somebody get hit.
the guys that extorted him, and the news stating that he was meant to testify shortly before his death. Now, I've also read that he had no intention to testify, but again, just due to his background, most guys would never put cooperating with the law past him because at the end of the day, they'll perceive you as weak, no matter what the true content of your character is, and some guys just won't take the risk. And of course, this is speculation, since as of 2025, 4 years after his death, his murder remains unsolved.
They drip and swag is fucking terrible for. I see a Gucci bag and a Gucci belt. That's about it. Them jeans gotta go. Them jeans and them shoes gots to go.
As is that of the rapper Gaboro, whose death like I mentioned earlier, was even recorded by his killer and posted online. But a couple years before that, he was actually sitting in a restaurant when a friend of his was murdered right in front of him when a masked man barged into the building. Two men and one woman was charged, but mysteriously the woman ended up being acquitted. Now, Gaboro's friend was allegedly associated with the Kalla Network, which is a group allied with Foxtrot, another well-known criminal network in Sweden formerly led by a man called the Kurdish Fox. And the killer was allegedly associated with a gang known as M-Town from a district called Maryland in Sweden. Gaboro's name was even found on a death list by the Maryland network that was shared on Snapchat. And man, a lot of this stuff reads like a very dark movie about crime in the future, except unfortunately all of this is happening right now, in a place that probably most of the world never expected, and for Americans, a place many know nothing about. Now of course this stuff is no secret in Western Europe, but it is shocking to hear this type of brutality. Even coming from Chicago, I know there is nothing scarier than organized crime. It's just something extremely ruthless about a group that works together. Because as we know, humans are capable of great good, and especially great evil when they put their minds to it. Apparently, the Kurdish Fox, leader of the Foxtrot network, is so dangerous and wealthy that the United States actually imposed sanctions on him like he's some kind of oligarch. He managed to flee the country but was caught near the border of Turkey. Now, the US alleges that this guy's gang, which has been active for at least a decade, is working on behalf of a foreign government basically. And if that's true, then this has to be the biggest difference with
They
gangs
tied in
over
with the
there
government?
versus gangs on this side of the Atlantic Ocean. Sweden is slowly becoming the gang and gun capital of Europe. It for sure seems to be the most active nation in all of Scandinavia. And this is not a trend we want to see. But if what the Treasury Department says is true, then this is much bigger than we think. As we in America can see with the cartels in Mexico and South America, when it comes to drug trafficking groups bringing in big money, the organization structure can go up to the highest tiers of society. And Foxtrot is one of, if not the top in Sweden. But just remember, everything is not as it seems. In the US, we make activity like this look watered down and messy, but the real danger is when it's organized.
Man. How y'all feel about that? I ain't know that shit was going down. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know they be stabbing people in Europe, but fucking 300 explosions is crazy, man. Hell no. J3, I'm gone.